My 45 female daughter, Mallory, 24, married 3 years ago. She has 2 children, a toddler and a first grader. Recently, her husband revealed he's been cheating on her and is leaving her for another woman. They rent a house, but due to my daughter having no credit at the time of moving in, only his name is on the lease. He's giving her 30 days to move out. Mallory is understandably distraught. I've been doing all I can to comfort her. Finally, she asked if she could move in with me, explaining she'd have the kids every other week. She assured me she wasn't looking for childcare. Both kids are in daycare. She offered to pay rent and chip in on groceries. Now, I've always raised my kids to be independent. I didn't kick them out at 18, but I encouraged them to start doing things independently. As a result, Mallory moved out at 19, moving in with her soon-to-be ex, and my sons are in college and plan to move out after graduating from college. They're both freshmen at the same university. I asked Mallory how her credit score was. She said she could reasonably rent. I offered to pay the first month, the last month and a deposit, along with 6 months' rent. She said it's not about the money. She's not wealthy by any means, but she does well for herself, and her husband already agrees to give her money weekly, even before they go to court. She just wants emotional support. I told her I could do that with her living in her place. She started to cry and said she just needed her mom right now. I told her she was going to be okay. My sons are angry with me. They pointed out I have plenty of room and Mallory has offered to pay rent. She's also not the type to shrug off the kid's responsibility, and the toddler is well behaved. To me, that doesn't matter. They called me heartless. Am I the idiot? Yes, you are 100% entitled to your own space and boundaries, but your daughter is asking for help. She even specified that she wanted emotional help. Her husband just admitted to having an affair and is leaving her and upending her life and the lives of their 2 small children. Her entire world has just been flipped upside down. She now has to readjust her entire life and her kids' lives. And if their youngest is only a toddler, do all of it while still in the postpartum time frame, which means extra hormones, baby brain, and everything else that comes with having a baby at home. If you want your boundaries, give her a time frame like 3 to 6 months to start sorting herself out. But the way you say you handled this makes you sound heartless and the idiot. Yeah, this may be reading too much into the situation, but if she wasn't being gently but consistently pushed out of the nest, maybe the daughter wouldn't have needed to shack up with a loser. You had kids. It's an obligation for life. Hopefully she takes her commitment to her children's mental well-being more seriously than her mother. I too found it odd she called out that she encouraged her daughter to move out, where she found her now ex, but the 2 boys get to stay through college. I've seen friends and family look past a few red flags to stay with someone who could provide things they were missing. In this instance, a place to stay. And it looks like the censure from her son is the only reason she's addressing this issue at all. Everyone has favourites, but you see this pattern too often. To me, this sounded less like encouraged to move out as a woman and more like encouraged to leave and get married. And now OP doesn't want her neighbours and friends to see that her daughter's marriage failed and she's living back home again. Notice how the poor girl married that jerk at the same age OP had her. Like, you sacrifice your youth having kids too soon, and your solution to that is to push your kids to commit the same mistake so you get the house to yourself sooner? Whoa, Mother of the Year material right here. You are the idiot without a doubt. If you weren't so hung up on pushing her to be independent, she wouldn't be married and divorced with 2 kids by age 24. It might be time to rethink your priorities. My tween son Axel had a meltdown earlier today and got out of line by back-talking and cussing at me, so I grounded him for the rest of the night. My brother and his wife came over for dinner, and the first thing he asks is where Axel was. I told him that he was grounded and banished to his room for the night. He told me he wanted to say hi, and I said fine. My brother spent the whole night in my son's room, even having dinner up there. My brother came down with the dishes, and I sarcastically asked him how his dinner was. He said Axel is pretty upset at me. I said no kidding. I'm his dad, and I punished him for kicking the back seat when I told him he didn't have any screen time today. He said I should maybe try being kinder, and I said perhaps he should get the heck out. His wife said we were making her feel uncomfortable with our arguing. I said we weren't arguing at all. I'm just letting your husband know that raising a tween boy isn't easy, and my son is fooling him because he knows he's cute. And I told my brother that he fundamentally ignored my younger child and my older son all night. My brother said it was time to leave and left. My wife thinks I should reach out and make amends. I think my brother should. Your tween son isn't the only one who had a meltdown today. You are the idiot. Your brother stepped up and helped your child emotionally navigate a bad situation and possibly helped him to understand the situation and definitely treated him with more respect than you showed anyone today. Does your wife get a say in punishment since they're her children too? I don't think so. Like father, like son. I seriously cannot get past that your son cussed and was punished, but you used the big one, the queen mother of the dirty words, to tell your brother to get the heck out. It reminds me of A Christmas Story and the "Oh fudge" scene with Ralphie saying he's heard that word from his dad a million times. OP, I think you need to wash your mouth out with Lifebuoy soap. To be fair, if an adult swears a lot around their children, the kids will pick up and mirror that behaviour. Overreacting seems to be OP's go-to as well. And while you're right that the brother could have been an intermediary, that's not exactly what happened. He went to say hi and then spent the entire evening listening to how OP is a big meanie head. Everyone's the idiot here. The kid for throwing a tantrum, OP for overreacting and being a bad influence, and the brother for sticking his nose in when it wasn't wanted. Even the brother's partner could have just said nothing and left when they were told to get the heck out. Why do people not understand the realities of children? Time out, removing privileges, etc. are perfectly normal and appropriate punishments. Assuming this kid isn't being spanked, sent away without food, or verbally abused, disciplinary action is what teaches kids consequences. I'm guessing your brother doesn't have kids, otherwise he would have agreed. On top of that, your brother has also managed to show your better behaved children that you will get more attention when you misbehave. So I don't get how people are saying your brother was right. I mean, this is the worst behaviour you can show as an adult towards someone else's child. It doesn't benefit the child at all. It will just make him lose trust in his dad, which means later, when the kid starts getting in trouble for bigger issues, he'll not be able to understand that he should listen to his dad. I'm 27 female, a young professional working a high-paying job in the tech field. I live with my boyfriend, 25, who's a plumber. In terms of personality, we mesh surprisingly well, so his educational background and career never mattered to me. Anyway, I regularly attend events hosted in the industry and went to one last week. This one was a semi-formal networking evening, and I brought my boyfriend along. He was nervous about going, but I assured him that he had nothing to worry about. Fast forward to the event. We split up as I wanted to do my own thing and give him some breathing room too. At one point, I started chatting with a girl, and we were talking about our experience at the event so far. She said she enjoyed it, but asked me if I'd come across the intimidating-looking guy too. She laughed that he must have gotten lost, and I immediately knew she was talking about my boyfriend. I cleared it up for her, and she apologized profusely, but it was still awkward. I told my boyfriend about this, and he got upset even though I told him that it's not a him problem at all, but he should lighten up a little. Well, afterward I spoke with a guy who used to work at a startup with a friend of mine. He took us up to the 3rd floor and introduced us to a bunch of people. I told them a bit about myself, and eventually someone asked my boyfriend what he did. He told them about his job, and there was an uncomfortable silence. I joked that he's a simple man, which is why I'm with him. After that, there was laughter, and the situation seemed less tense. Well, when we left the event, we had a big argument. He said that it was insulting of me to describe him as simple, and that I was clearly embarrassed to be associated with him at all. He said that I'd straight up mocked him in front of everyone to make myself feel better. I told him that he was way overreacting, that I didn't mean simple in a derogatory way. Am I the idiot for using that word to describe him, or is he overreacting? You are the idiot. Breakup coming in 6 months or less. We blue-collar workers make your delusional white-collar world function. The next time your toilet won't flush, fix it yourself. The next time your hot water doesn't work, fix it yourself. The next time the sewage flow comes up through your bathtub, sink or toilet, fix it yourself. I hope he leaves you quickly, and he will. Blue-collar men make an easy 80,000 plus a year. As for me, I have to stop working when I hit 150,000 a year. Union electrician also. You made fun of him and called him stupid in a room full of people he didn't know. I don't know how you could think you weren't a major idiot in this situation. Your first paragraph is disgusting. You're full of yourself and think your boyfriend is lucky just to be graced by your presence. Jesus, get off your high horse. A plumber is not a simple man. Definitely a more useful skill than whatever startups your snobbish colleagues are involved in. You already noticed other guests were treating him like he didn't belong. Why would you allow them to make your boyfriend feel lesser and then join in on the ridicule? I would have dumped you if I were in your boyfriend's shoes. My wife, 26, and I, 27 male, have been together for 6 years and married for 2. Our marriage is usually perfect, and we just had a beautiful baby boy a few months ago. However, my wife had a tough pregnancy, so she took 3 months off work and became a stay-at-home mom. She and I have been swamped for the last year because of this and have both gained weight. I gained 25 pounds and she gained nearly 80 pounds, so we decided together we needed to make changes. I've been going to the gym in the morning, but she says she doesn't have time with the baby, which I understand. I also usually work late, so I assume she'd be making healthy dinners since she's at home, and she did for a couple of weeks, but then she got back into buying unhealthy fast food. We spoke about this many times and she said she would try to make time, and it seemed great until I realised I'd lost almost 15 pounds and she had gained 5. We had a discussion about it, and she was immediately very defensive and admitted when I wasn't home, she gets herself fast food and doesn't work out at all. I know she's insecure about her body, and to be honest, I don't find her very attractive anymore either. Of course, I don't say this to her face. Instead, I decided to try and help her, and this is where I may have messed up. For her birthday, I got her a Peloton, a diet food delivery service subscription, and a couple of classes at a fancy gym near our house that she could attend while I babysat. When she first saw her gift, she insisted that it was all too expensive and I should take it back, but I assured her she was worth it. After a while of going back and forth, it spiraled into a fight where she said she'd been struggling with the baby and I was trying to get her to lose weight instead of actually helping her. I want to clarify that I think losing weight would help her feel better physically and mentally, but she insists I'm being an idiot. Am I the idiot? Edit, I work 50 or 60 hours a week and I help with our son whenever I can. My wife also chooses to be a stay-at-home mom and refuses to put him in daycare. She is an amazing wife and mother, and we rarely have problems or fights. I only wanted to help her a bit. Husband body-shaming wife who just had a baby. Check. Husband offering to babysit his own child. Check. Husband thinks exercise equipment is an appropriate birthday gift. Check. It's an idiot trifecta. I like how he didn't offer to help with meal prep or go on family walks together. Help her more with the baby so she's rested enough to take care of herself. Being a stay-at-home mom to a newborn is exhausting and never-ending, when she's supposed to ride the Peloton while the baby is nursing. Also, nothing worse than starting a workout to have to stop it 10 times in 5 minutes because the baby needs something. And yeah, fathers don't babysit unless they're talking the 1900s. Dads aren't involved with raising the child at all approach. Man, I wouldn't be surprised if the reason she was gaining weight was because of all the pressure he puts on her. Right now, losing weight is not her priority, and she has other stuff he should help her with. Yet this dude is constantly checking up on her. Probably would just put more stress on her, causing her to stress eat, which makes her gain weight, which makes her feel bad about herself, and just repeats in a vicious cycle. Seriously, OP, what the heck? Help your wife with house chores, help your wife take care of the baby, stop being a nag about such superficial BS, and be the man she needs. Actually, don't help your wife with chores and parenting. You live there. It's your house, your kid. She shouldn't have to ask for your help. You should be taking care of those things and not just expect her to take care of everything and ask if she needs help. Ugh, you make her feel uncared for by your lack of involvement in these essential things and make her feel like crap for her weight. You're so the idiot. I'm 28 female, recently in a good place in my life for the first time. I'm financially stable, have a great career, fit, and have various passions. So I decided to start dating seriously. I even started using a dating app for the first time, which I often forget to use. I was hanging out with a couple of friends at the beach the other day and started using the app. I swiped left on just about all of the guys with an occasional match here and there. Well, it turns out my guy friend had been closely watching the whole time. He got up and started going through some crisis. He asked me if I was seriously judging the guys on the pics before anything else, and I said, heck yeah. He said that I rejected 99.99% of the guys who seemed perfectly fine, and that it was unreasonable. I was confused by his sudden outburst and told him that he was crazy. He said that he's not crazy, and it's crazy of me to dismiss his views just like that. I didn't even know what to say, but told him he was creeping me out a lot. Well, as soon as he heard the word creepy, he accused me of using slurs against him and making him look bad. Then, he legit said I called him the equivalent of another slur, which I won't mention. So, am I the idiot here, or is my friend overreacting? Not the idiot. He was looking over your shoulder, watching you on your phone. In a way, that's like watching someone write in their diary. Phones are very personal and have become an extension of ourselves. That's like reading your thoughts. And also, maybe he has a hard time dating. I won't go so far as to say he's jealous that he wants you, but it's a possibility. He might physically relate to the guys you swipe left on and was hurt that maybe that's what's happening to him. He has a girlfriend. He might be insecure about his looks, but he's conventionally attractive. I'm just not into him because he's not my type. Edit, I just found out that he allegedly dumped his girlfriend. I mean, he could be happily dating, no longer, but it does feel like he's got some resentment against women being free to choose and have standards too. When I was single, this acquaintance constantly talked smack about me because he thought I was too picky. Eventually, people in our peer group froze him out because A, he was already married, so why care? And B, when I began going out with my partner, he then began saying, of course, he has to be a hot doctor, or some bizarre version of, why is fine not acceptable to you? Your friend sounds like a lunatic and seems like he's projecting. Creepy is not a slur, and I cannot even fathom what he thinks it's similar to. You have the right to judge who you're attracted to based solely on looks. A lot of people do it without being judged for it, so why should you? Well, sort of an update. He told me that girls always find him attractive and asked why I don't find him physically attractive. I explained that I recognized that he was an attractive dude, I was just not physically attracted to him. He said that doesn't make sense, LOL. Then he started showing me pics of all the pretty girls he recently hooked up with, LOL.